In this video, I'm going to explain what a simple moving average is and show how it works. On my screen here is a stock chart for Amazon. And these are price bars, and each of these price bars represents one day of price activity. And with each of these price bars, you can see what the kind of key price points were for that day. And if you look up here, you'll see there's like the letter O, that stands for open, and H for high, L for low, and C for close. There's some other information, but for this video, I'm just going to focus on those. And you'll notice that they change as I mouse over different bars. So here the open price is 184.07, as you can see at the top. And here the open price is 187.06. So that's how to read the chart and understand the price bars. Now you'll notice there's a blue line here. This represents a moving average, a simple moving average. And I'm going to right click it just to show you exactly what the settings are. It's set to 3 for the length, and what that means is it's a 3-period moving average, and it's a simple moving average. So what that is it's basically at any given point on the chart, it's taking the average of the last 3 days' prices, and it plots a point for that average. So for example, here, this blue line represents what the average price was from the last 3 days, including this day. So if you were to take the average price of these 3 days, it would be exactly where that blue point is. And then the same thing here. This one is taking the last 3 days. And the blue point right there, it's a point on the line. That represents the simple moving average for a 3-period moving average. Now, if you look back at the top again, you'll see that there's this blue number here, and you'll see it says simple moving average right there. And notice that that number changes as I mouse over different bars. That's because the simple moving average value is changing. And so essentially that blue number that you see corresponds to the plot point on this blue line for each respective price bar. Now when I talk about taking the average of the last 3 days, there are different price points during each day. And so you can configure which price point exactly you're taking the average of. But by default, with this particular trading platform and with many others, it looks at the closing price to take that average. So I'm going to do an example here and just show you exactly how it's calculated to make sure it's clear. So I'm going to look at this day right here. Okay, so if I were to take the simple moving average on this day, it would be taking the close price from this bar, and this bar, and averaging them. And so by looking up here at the letter C, as I mouse over these bars, I'll show you that the close price on this day was 183.66. The close price on this day was 184.06, and the close price on this day is 182.81. So if you take those three numbers and you average them out, and down here in this spreadsheet, it shows what the average is. It comes out to 183.51. So that's just simply taking the average of the closing price of those 3 bars, because this is a 3-period simple moving average. And now if we go look, and I'm going to mouse over this bar, this is the bar where I did this calculation for, and keep an eye on this blue number as I mouse over that bar, you'll see that it shows 183.51, which is the exact average that we calculated here. So it's simply taking the average. Now let's progress one bar and see how that changes things. So you'll notice the close price, which is right here on this bar, is higher than that average. So the close price here is 186.10. And so when you're taking a 3-period moving average, it means you only need the last 3. So we're going to disregard this one and now take the average of just these 3. And the average here is 184.32. which matches what the moving average value in blue at the top shows for this. And notice that the actual line goes upward. There's like an upward slope. And this makes sense because the closing price here was higher than the average price of these 3. And so basically you're displacing the closing price of this and replacing it with the closing price here, which is higher, and that's going to cause that blue line to go up. And that's one of the things that moving averages can tell us. They can give us an idea based on their slope of which way a price is trending, whether there is a trend. So if it's kind of you can see here, the price itself is going upward and the line is also going upward. Now there are different periods of simple moving averages. The one I have on my screen here is a 3-period moving average, but there are all sorts of different, you can really configure it whatever way you want. Popular ones that we've seen before and that we use in some of our own trading strategies here at Stock Market Guides include 20-period moving averages, 50-period moving averages, and 200-period moving averages. And the longer the periods, the higher the amount of periods involved in the moving average, the less impact that each individual bar has on the moving average. So you can imagine if I had 200 numbers here for a 200-period simple moving average, if I'm just displacing the oldest one and adding one new number out of 200, that may not have too much of an impact on the overall average because there's 200 total contributors to the average. So one number won't have a huge impact. But on a 3-day moving average, if you displace one and replace it with another, that has a big impact potentially on that moving average. So they'll refer to moving averages with a less number of periods as being a fast moving average, and one with a higher number of periods as being a slow simple moving average. Now there are other types of moving averages like exponential moving averages, but we're not going to cover those in this video. This video is just to explain what a simple moving average is, and now you have a clearer picture of what that is. If you have any questions about moving averages, about the stock market, or really about anything else related to trading or investing, you can contact us anytime. Our email address is support@stockmarketguides.com.